Hi everybody. So in this project we are learning all about self-portraits, and we are going to be creating our very own self-portrait in a hot air balloon. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to paint our background and our hot air balloon. So let's get the paper out. What else you're going to need? Scissors, cotton balls, a picture of yourself, a black crayon, glue stick, water, paintbrush, paper towel. So let's get this out of the way, and we'll be working on our background and our hot air balloon. So we need to make ourselves a hot air balloon. And with your pencil, because we always want to start with pencil first, since pencil can be erased. We can't erase crayons or markers, so we got to make sure we use a pencil first. So we're going to make our hot air balloon. Like a big circle. With a little line over and up. Then we're going to draw the basket. So we're going to draw lines kind of going a little outward. One on this side and one on this side. We gotta leave enough space so we can fit our bodies here. So I might need to make this a little bit longer. I'm only using my crayon right away because you can see it on the screen. You can't see pencil in this video. So now that I have my lines drawn, I'm going to draw myself a basket. So I'm going to draw a line going curved and over. I need to extend this line a little bit so it matches up. And we're going to make a big rectangle, but we can round the edges. Round it over, round it up. Got ourselves a basket. Now, before we cut this out, we need to do a couple things. We need to make sure that we make patterns in our hot air balloon and patterns in our basket. Now, we might not use these lines later because we're going to cut everything out, and that's totally okay. We'll see later when we get to it. You might want to use it, you might not want to, but it's up to you later. So we're going to split up our hot air balloon into different sections. And because a hot air balloon is round, we're going to make rounded sections. So we're going to round off the hot air balloon. That's one section. We're going to make another rounded area. And we're going to make another rounded area. If you want to make one more, you can. If you want to make another one at the top or towards the bottom, you can, but that is up to you. Now we're going to be able to make our patterns in our hot air balloon. There's so many different patterns that we can make. I made this example sheet all about different types of lines. So we can use different types of lines, and if we keep repeating them, that's when they become a pattern. So if I repeat all my vertical lines over and over again, it becomes a pattern. If I repeat my zigzag lines over and over again, it's a pattern. Same thing with the curved lines, spirals, wavy lines, cross-hatching lines, curly lines, broken lines. We can make a pattern with shapes. We can make a pattern with almost anything. But I wanted to give you an example of some lines to make. So I'm going to put these over to the side. And I'm going to start making my patterns on my hot air balloon. So in the very top, maybe I want to I'll use that chart and I'll make some wavy lines. Remember, for it to be a pattern, you got to keep repeating it. So I'm making these wavy lines and I'm curving it with the hot air balloon. All right, and I stop at the bottom of the section. Now in this section, I really liked these curved lines. So maybe I'll do some of these curved lines in this section. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to be pressing with my black crayon to be making all these curved lines. Notice how I'm making them all different directions, so I'm making them in different ways as I'm making them. And I'm filling up the whole space. All right, so right here I'm going to do another pattern. Maybe I want to do some spirals. You do spirals going all the way across. Here's one spiral. Another one. Another one. There we go. And in this very last section, before we get to the bottom portion, I could let's do some broken lines. That'll be fun. So I'm going to take my crayon and make a bunch of broken lines. Kind of looks like dashes. All right. And I have one little section left, and I think I'm going to do some vertical lines there. Perfect. Now, for the basket, something that will look really awesome for the basket would be the cross hatching. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how to make cross hatching. It's really easy. I'm going to show you. So all you do is you're going to make diagonal lines. So going diagonal like that line all the way across, and you just keep doing diagonal lines. Then you go the other direction. So we started in this corner. Now I'm going to start in this corner. Watch this. Diagonal lines. We have ourselves cross hatching for our basket. Looks wonderful. So we're done drawing our hot air balloon. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to work on our watercolors. So we have to watercolor our hot air balloon and our background. So let's put this to the side and we will start working on our background. So I need that other piece of white paper. Okay. Okay, so we have our paper, we've got our watercolor palette, we've got our water and our paintbrush. Now, when you're painting with watercolors, especially a palette, you need water in order for the paint to work. So you have to dip the paintbrush in water in order for you to use the paint. We don't need to drown our paintbrush in the water, but we do need to make it a little wet. You can brush some of it off, and then you can stick it in what color that you need to use. So we're going to make a pattern for our background. We're going to be using colors that we would see in the sky. So let's start with blue. We're going to rub our paintbrush in the blue, and we're going to run it across the top of the page. It is okay if you get a little on the desk. Now, we can keep spreading this paint. We just got to dip our paintbrush to get it a little more wet, and then we can spread the paint a little bit more. If you want to make it a little bit darker, you'll put it back into the paint and then go back and forth, back and forth. Okay. A little more water, help spread the paint. And now we can go our next stripe. So we're going to make a pattern here. I need to rinse off my paintbrush by swirling it around in the water. You can let it drip on the side, and you can dry it off a little bit if there's too much water on it. Now I'm going to go with purple. This color right here is purple. It looks really dark, like black, but it's actually purple. So we're going to put our paintbrush in here, and we are going to go across our page. Get some more water, help spread the paint. And we have our next stripe. So now we're going to do another stripe. I'm going to rinse off my brush, tap it on the side. If you still see color coming off of your brush, that means it's not completely clean. So you can swirl it around again, and then tap it on the side, and then we can go and pick another color. I'm going to pick red. Red's in the sky a lot, especially when the sun is setting. You see those pinks, really pretty. So I'm going to spread my paint across the page. Get some more paint and some more water. You can see how dark it gets when I don't add a lot of water. I don't want it that dark, because these are watercolors. Okay. So now we're going to go on to our next color. We're going to repeat from the top. So now we're going to go back to blue. It's okay if you choose a different color order than me. That's okay. So I put my paintbrush back in the blue, and I'm going across my page and repeating my pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my purple. Rinse off my paintbrush, tap it on the side a little bit, and go back to purple. That's really dark. I don't want it that dark. So what should I do? Add water. That'll help spread out my paint, and it'll help it make it look much lighter. Notice I'm going back and forth with my brush strokes. And I'm always going in the same direction. Okay, so now I'm going to go to red, because red is my next color in my pattern. Go across my page. Get a little more red. Okay. Now I go back to my next color, which is blue. Go back and forth. Taking my time. Notice how I don't have any white space on here at all. And I'm really taking my time with my brush strokes. And spreading it across my page. All right, my next color is purple. Rinse off my paintbrush. Go to purple. Notice how I got some more water to help spread my paint. We don't need too much water, just a little dip in the water. And I think I'm just going to have my last section be completely red. So I'm going to rinse off my paintbrush and do red for my last area. Make sure we have no white space. Spread the paint completely across. If it doesn't spread super easily, you might need a little bit more water on your paintbrush. Okay, so I have my background done. We need to let it dry. So I'm going to put it on the drying rack, or just put it to the side so that it can dry. Next, we need to paint our hot air balloon. So we can get our hot air balloon, and we're going to choose a color scheme. What kind of color schemes have we learned about? We learned about so many. Primary color scheme, secondary colors, warm and cool colors. I think I'm gonna go with some primary colors. I think those will look awesome in my hot air balloon. So I'm gonna put my paintbrush here. And what are the primary colors? Red, yellow, and blue. So I'm gonna start with blue just because it's my favorite color. And watch this. When I paint the watercolors on top of the crayon, it doesn't go on top of the crayon. The crayon is made of wax, and the wax does not let water in. So it goes all around the crayon, but it doesn't cover the crayon up, which is awesome. So I have my blue. Now let's do yellow. Gotta rinse my brush off. We don't want to mix the colors in our color palette because when we use the color that we don't want it to be a different color. If I stuck my paintbrush in the yellow and it came out black, you would be really sad. So we have to take care of our things. Notice how I'm being very careful as I'm painting. I'm taking my time and I'm staying in the lines. Water, spread it a little more. Get some more yellow on my brush. Awesome. So my next color is going to be red. So we're sticking with the primary colors. So I'm going to go in the red. And you got to be really careful. Notice how I got a little bit in my yellow. I don't want that to happen. So we got to really watch what we're doing. Alright, let's get some more red. And we have our 3 primary colors. So we can choose a couple more to do down here. I think I'm going to stick with red, and I'm going to do red down here. So I'm going to just keep red on my paintbrush and go ahead and paint this section. And I have one last section to paint. Rinse my paintbrush off. And I think I'm going to do blue. So I'm going to put my paintbrush in the blue and spread it very carefully in this section. Beautiful. I don't need to do anything here, but down here we're going to paint it brown because usually baskets are brown. So I'm going to rinse my paintbrush off, and this one right here is brown. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush in there. And I'm going to use some more water so it's a little lighter. If we have too much water, our paper is going to get really soggy and it's going to take way too long to dry. So we don't want to put too much water on our paper. So it's okay to keep spreading it around so the water is able to dry. Okay. So I have my hot air balloon done. We just have to wait for it to dry, and then we will cut it out. I'm going to put it on the drying rack. We will cut it out, and we will glue it onto our background. Okay, so we have some things that we need to cut out. In the very beginning of this project, you needed to get a picture taken of yourself. And I posed like I was looking down. I was looking for something because I'm so high up in the air in my hot air balloon. And I was really surprised. So I gotta cut my body out. So what you're going to do is you're gonna cut out the outline around your body without getting really close to yourself. Because if we get too close, we might end up cutting part of our body off, and we don't want that to happen. So we need to cut out our body, our hot air balloon, and our basket. So I'm going to start with my body. I'm going to cut the outline of my body out. These are the scraps. Those can be thrown away. And I need to cut this giant white section off. Perfect. So now I have my body, which is going to be able to fit inside my hot air balloon. And we got to cut out our hot air balloon. So I'm going to cut it out in two sections. I'm going to cut out the balloon part and then the basket. So see, friends, I cut it out all one piece. I'm going to put that to the side with a picture of myself, and now I'm going to cut out the basket. I'm just not going to cut out these strings because I can always redraw them. Sometimes it's easier if you just cut out the section that you need to, get rid of the big paper, and now you can work with a smaller area. So take your time, follow that line. We have our basket. So now I need my background paper and all my pieces so that I can glue them all down. But first we're going to lay it out to make sure we like the way it looks. Okay, so I like the way this looks. There's also another trick that we can do. So I like the way this looks a lot. I'm able to glue it down now, but I really would like to cut a little slit right by my hand. Just like that. Not cutting anything off, but if you can see here's my hand and here's my body, and now it's a little separated. Because now I can tuck my body a little underneath the basket and stick my hand on top of my basket. So it looks like my hand's coming over the basket. Look how awesome that looks. So I'm gonna glue down my body with my basket. So I don't want to move my basket because I don't want to accidentally glue my hand down. So I'm going to put it all together, glue my body. Okay, I'm gonna flip it over. Make sure you put it right where you'd like it, because you're not gonna be able to move it. Lightly press down. Now part of the hot air balloon might be a little up, so you're gonna need to put a little more glue down. That's okay. I'm going to glue my hand down so it's not sticking up. There we go. Now I need to glue my hot air balloon part just above my head. So I'm going to flip this over, glue this down. Flip it over. Oh, some of my crayon came off. These little dots. I just gotta brush it off. Brush them off. Alright, so now I'm gonna glue down my hot air balloon. And I can draw in with my black crayon those lines to attach the balloon to the basket. So I'm going to take my time because if we mess up, then we can't erase it. Perfect. I'm going to do this side from the very corner to this corner. Perfect. Looks like I'm floating away. Now the one last thing that we have to add are the clouds. So I have these cotton balls, and you got to spread the cotton ball out. So we just might need one cotton ball because that's a lot of cotton. We're just going to spread it out. Now that is really big. So what you can do is you can cut it. Or you can tear it. And even that's really big. So I'm just going to separate them. And I can glue this down as a cloud because I'm so high up in the sky. I can glue this one down as a cloud. Spread it out a little bit more. Maybe I want one more up here. So I'm just going to rip it. I don't need that. This is really big. I don't want it that big. So I'm just going to tear it. Use those muscles. That looks perfect right here. Awesome. So now I need to glue my cotton down. You can't glue on the cotton. You will ruin your glue stick. So we're going to move the cotton and put the glue on the paper. Put a good amount of glue and then stick down the cotton. There we go. We have one piece. I'm going to do this one. Glue this down. one more up here. Stick it down, and we have our hot air balloon self-portrait. Nice job, everybody.